Hi, everyone. I'm Mia Funt, the co-founder and president of ByHeart. Welcome to our next panel that we're calling Products, Lifesavers, Lifelines. Whether you're about to be a first-time parent or like me, you've been through it 3 times, there are new things to know. There are tried and true must-haves. There are classes to take, new carriers or swaddles or bottles to use, and it always feels like you find out about them just a little too late to take advantage. So we've put together an amazing group of women to share just that, the tips, the tricks, and the must-knows and must-haves that help them in their parenthood journey. I'm going to kick it off to Alyssa DeMont now to get the show on the road.
As Mia said, I'm Alyssa DeMont, I'm head of brand for ByHeart, and I'm thrilled to be here moderating this panel with all of these women in the know. I would love to take a moment before we get started to have each of you introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. My name's June Diane Raphael, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And um, I'm really excited to be here and talk about one of the both darkest and most wonderful times of my of my life, which was pregnancy and then new motherhood. And some of you might know me from Grace and Frankie. I also have started a community for mothers and caretakers called the Jane Club, which has recently taken our entire village online through the pandemic, which has been pretty incredible. And I'm also a writer, and I've written a book on women running for office. And so I'm thrilled to be here.
Hi guys, I'm Shelley. So I run a content studio for the pregnancy and parenting division of Everyday Health Group. And you guys probably know us more commonly as our 2 flagship brands, Baby Center and What to Expect. Hopefully some of you out there actually have our apps on your phone as you track your pregnancy and track the growth of your baby. And our mission is very simple. It's to improve the lives of parents and parents to be. And then outside of my professional life, I do have a 3-year-old son at home. And while those newborn weeks feel very far off, I'm about to enter them again. I'm expecting a baby girl in a few short weeks. So if I sound a little bit out of breath, that might be why. And I know you can only see this square, but I promise that my bump is here and it's very large.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jennie Monness, and I'm so thrilled to be here. As I'll say in a second, I feel that my life's mission is to help parents and new moms and to make their lives easier, more fun, and a bit more communal. And so that's why I started both my Instagram account called Mo Mommies, which is sort of because of my last name. People called me Jennie Mo, and I feel the more moms there are, the better. And that led to in-person groups and eventually co-founding a New York City play space called Union Square Play, which then turned virtual and has expanded to all over with our virtual moms groups and soon to be back in person as we reopen.
Hi, guys. I'm Sylvana Ward Durrett. I am the co-founder and CEO of a curated marketplace called Maisonette.com. And we are a curated marketplace across all categories, serving the needs of the modern family as they navigate their journey with their children. We support families with children 0 to 12 years old, and we are actually now launching teen. We also have maternity. And so we really want to be on this journey with our parents and our caretakers for a very long time.
Awesome. Well, we're so thrilled to have all of you here. I echo the being a little bit further out as a mom. My youngest is 7, but I will tell you that I don't think I'll ever forget the feeling of just being kind of clueless, wandering into giving birth and being like, I need so much information. So I'm going to use this opportunity to suck every one of your brains out of their heads and give it to our audience. I'm going to start with you, June Diane. I would love for you to share your kind of grossest and yet most necessary products.
Grossest and most necessary. It's a perfect question for me. Well, I'll start by saying, I had a lot of trouble breastfeeding, and I took a breastfeeding class before I gave birth. And I remember the teacher saying to all of us, there's no reason every single woman should not be able to breastfeed in this room. And I didn't know anything about any of this. And so I really like internalized that message very, very deeply. And so when I gave birth and was breastfeeding my first child, I had a very hard time doing it. And it was really painful and difficult. And I had a really hard time not feeling like a piece of human garbage because it wasn't working out, because I had just consumed that message that if I wasn't able to do it, then there was something very wrong with me as a mom and I was failing. So and one of the things that was incredibly difficult was it was just physically very painful. So when I had my second, I finally, too late into the game realized like there's a lot of reasons that women might not be able to breastfeed, and one great one could just be they don't want to, and that's an awesome reason. So um I finally was able to sort of come to terms with my own relationship with breastfeeding. But when I had my second, had similar trouble, but was less hard on myself. And I found this, actually, one of my best girlfriends sent it to me in a care package. Her mom is a nurse, an RN, and she sent me like medical grade wound care patches that are truly used for open wounds on your body and in the hospital. But it was the only thing that really helped my nipples. And so I had a much easier time the second go round um, because of my medical grade wound care tape, which really did make a huge difference.
We're going to move to you, Sylvana, and I will just say that while I'm going to ask you to share all of your picks uh, for kind of the most beloved toys and the best nursery deco. I feel like Maisonette is my destination for like every single baby gift I purchase, and is truly full of like very practical things and very needed things, as well as just like the most gorgeous things. So please do share your picks.
As we sort of, are heading into holiday season now, we start thinking a lot about sort of the best toys for babies, for kids, etc. And so we have a lot of favorites. We actually have or rather our most popular item, which is going to sound really funny, but is a great little sort of STEM toy for babies to learn how to play music on, is called the musical Lily Llama. It is a llama that is, that you sort of bang on, but it's really, really cute. And for whatever reason, babies love this toy. We literally can't stay in stock on it. I think it's a mixture of sort of, it's kind of unique looking, it's funny, it's furry, and it plays music, but it's a good one. It's a favorite. I guarantee the receiver will be happy. Sort of nursery decor is one of our favorites. So we have everything from, obviously apparel and accessories and shoes and all of those things, to home furniture, home decor, everything for your nursery gear and toys. And what I think sort of makes the nursery the most fun part, because I think, certainly it's sort of getting the crib and getting all the cool rockers and things. But I think what makes it really unique is wall art, actually, and making it, whether it's like a blown up photo of them as babies that you frame really nicely, or really investing in nice little pieces of art that they'll have forever, right? That they sort of will remember as they grow up, and that make the room really fun. I would say in general, we love things like that because I think with babies, it gets so expensive. And so when you find things that you can really amortize over their lifetime, those are the fun things that you purchase now and can enjoy for a long time.
Mia, you are not surprisingly the person who most recently gave birth on this panel. Your daughter Simone is only 4.5 months, so you have the closest wisdom to the actual birth date. So very eager to hear what you come up with. And I'm excited to kind of get your take on the most exciting product that has come about since you last had a baby.
Honestly, I try to keep things pretty simple and almost not use the latest and most exciting products. I fear getting overly dependent on the latest gadget. For example, someone once told me to use a wipe warmer, and my friend like jumped into my rescue and just said, "Are you crazy? That means warming your baby's wipes for years to come. Like their butt can handle cold wipes. It's just all about what you get them used to." And that really stuck with me. And it's kind of my philosophy to keep things simple. I keep things kind of old school, tried and true. For example, music is really one of those tried and true tips for making baby happy and keeping them calm. I love an old school crib mobile with music, not a stylish one, just one with lights and music. I put on the crib mobile and my 4-month-old Simone just lays there dancing. Music makes baby happy, and getting to chill out for a moment makes me very happy. And that's my other philosophy, just happy, calm, comfy mommy means comfy, happy, calm baby.
I think we'll switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about like enriching experiences and classes and just things that you like will need to stay sane. So I'm going to definitely pass it off to you, Jennie, to share with us classes or experiences you'd recommend before baby arrives, just to kind of like set you up right.
There are so many things out there, so many classes, so many experiences people recommend that you absolutely need to do before the baby arrives. Things like a walkthrough of the hospital are awesome. Things like CPR, and I'll get into more detail, are really important from a safety perspective, obviously. But there's a lot that I recommend waiting for until after you have your baby because it can quickly turn to mush in your brain and you'll need to refresh your memory. So, the thing that I recommend the most for before baby comes and expecting moms is, like June mentioned, community at the same exact time that you are, give or take, of course, a few months. It helps you realize what can we do together to kind of solidify the experience that could feel kind of really daunting on your own, like, with doing a prenatal yoga class with other expecting moms. We offer ones like that, not to plug, but just at Union Square Play. And we see those moms go through childbirth and beyond into our toddler groups together. And you can have all the friends in the world, but if they're not giving birth around the same time as you, like we just learned, a lot of things can change from year to year. Like CPR isn't really timely because your child actually doesn't start solids until they're 4 months, and there's very little that they can actually choke on before that. Knock on wood, obviously. Every situation is different, but you'll realize if you do that too soon after becoming pregnant that you'll want to retake it and refresh your memory after. So I recommend that as like the first thing you do after you give birth.
I'm going to go to the totally opposite end of the spectrum and go to products that will be the envy of all your mom friends.
Well, so because I don't know how some of the other women on the panel feel, but now that I'm a little bit out of the game and I have some friends who are having babies, I'm looking at the newer products, and what I should probably feel is, gratitude that they exist for my friends, but I actually feel really quite angry because I'm like, these are so much better than what I had. And one thing I just saw this morning when I was at drop off was one of my best girlfriends has a 5-month-old, and there's a new car seat where there's an insert that goes in that so you don't when you're taking your baby out, you don't have to take out the entire car seat from the carrier. You just take out what looked like a 6-pound thing and just drop it into the stroller. And I think one of the things about new parenthood that I was so shocked by was just how physical it is and how much hard labor you're doing in terms of just lugging things. And especially if you live in a place where, like I live in a place where there's tons of hills, there's tons of steps up to homes, and the just labor of carrying things. So I am actually envious of these new car seat inserts for newborns and infants that are, I honestly, they look like a quarter of the weight of the car seats that I was lifting out of the car. And I am envious of them and wish I had that. And I'm angry, which I know is the wrong emotion to feel.
A, there is no wrong emotion. And B, I like also am very envious of that. That sounds heavenly, and we'll definitely have to track down that product. And with that, I will transition away from you, June, even though that was lovely, and ask you to jump in, Shelley. We are so excited to hear your recs. I know that Everyday Health Group did just start a registry, so you are like a true authority, and we'd love to hear your perspective on kind of the most highly recommended basics, cribs and swaddles, strollers, anything that you think is just fundamental, but like what are those best ofs?
So starting with the classic must-haves, I think, June was talking about this really cool new infant car seat and stroller, which I'm really anxious to know what that is. If you want to tell me later, but the infant car seat is so critical to get because you literally can't leave the hospital without it, right? Our moms really love the Graco Snug Ride Snug Lock. This is a very classic product. Graco is a very classic baby brand. But they particularly love it because it's so easy to install, which can be a challenge, and it holds up well. It lasts until your child is 30 pounds or 30 inches long. And then from a stroller perspective, again, parents have different strategies. If you expect to use a stroller a lot and you don't mind a little bit of a heftier price tag, our parents rave about the Up a Baby Vista. They love that you can turn your baby to either face yourself or outwards. It has a giant storage basket on the undercarriage, which I know my stroller had a very small storage basket, so I was always jealous when I saw those big ones. The next must-have that I'm going to talk about is a bassinet. So experts recommend that your baby sleep in the same room as you for the first 6 months. And that means a bassinet is really important, right? Especially for those first few months. I mean, I'm not planning on setting up a crib for my baby number 2 here for several months, but I do, want to make sure I actually have that bassinet set up. And our parents really love the Halo swivel sleeper. They love that the swivel feature kind of is really easy for you to kind of get in and out of bed. You can kind of push it back and forth. And it also has mesh sides that they can see through, so you can watch their baby sleep, which I don't know about you guys, but usually like you want your baby to go to sleep so badly, but then once they are asleep, all you do is like watch them sleep, and then you can't sleep. It's a vicious cycle. The next must-have, which is a classic one, is a nursing pillow. And I say nursing, but it works great for bottle feeding as well. They do make it more comfortable, whether you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding, for you and your baby. I know I took mine everywhere. It was like giant, but I even took it out and about when I needed to. So I had it sort of at the ready. And then just a couple of favorites that might be a little bit more surprising that our community is like fairly obsessed with. One is the Ubi diaper pail. The second surprising one is the Boone drying rack. So if you are bottle feeding, you guys will need some sort of drying rack to dry the bottles and all the parts, and then eventually you'll need one to dry, pacifiers and teething toys and things like that. And the Boone one looks like, you guys may have seen it. Looks like a little lawn that sits right on top of your countertop. The next one is Hatch Baby Rest, which is a sound machine. Our parents love this sound machine. It has customizable sounds and colors. You can control it using your iPhone, so you can actually not even be in your child's room, and you can adjust the lighting or the sound. You can use it as, a sort of time to rise clock as your child gets older and they sort of understand that. And a lot of families are saying, oh, I have one in all my children's room and I have one in my own too because I love it so much. And then lastly, if you're formula feeding, parents really love products that help them pre-measure and mix. I know I had a formula dispenser pack to bring on the go, where you could pre-mix the powder, so that you can just sort of easily like mix up a bottle on the go. So our parents really love the Munchkin formula dispenser combo pack. And if you're mixing at home, Dr. Brown's has a mixing pitcher, which is a favorite for at-home mixing as you're like prepping bottles for the day, or prepping bottles for, maybe someone to come watch the baby. So that's all the product recommendations I have. I will say there's so much out there. And as a new mom, especially a first-time new mom, it's so easy to be influenced by shiny new products. So my last piece of advice is to think about what's going to suit your needs as a family and leave room for some flexibility and changing needs, because you might think something works and then your baby comes along and has a whole other idea about things. So definitely leave room for that flexibility.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Shelley. That was like some serious knowledge. That was like the best of all worlds. So impressive. So that'll be so helpful, I'm sure, to so many people. Pivoting a little to like after a baby actually arrives, is there anything that you find particularly helpful in terms of actually bonding with baby?
Yeah, and I feel very strongly about the particular experiences and classes that you choose at this time, not where any class is going to be fun, and an experience, of course. But I think what we often don't realize with all that's out there is what's really age appropriate and will give me the opportunity to learn about my baby when I'm with them in this class. So, for instance, music classes, which I absolutely love and did as soon as I could and still recommend, aren't going to be as bonding necessarily as a class that is a little bit more engaging and age appropriate, a class that's around, that's structured around free exploration, where there's babies in diapers and the parent's role is really to observe and let the facilitator or educator kind of demonstrate what you can notice about your baby. Oh, did you notice that when your back baby heard that noise, he turned his head and he was leaning towards, that sound, and he almost rolled over. Like those nuanced things that you can notice in a class that isn't as stimulating and structured as a quintessential music class can really help you bond more with your baby.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jenny. When it comes to feeding, there's a ton of different tools out there to make parents more confident in their choices. What did you find the most helpful for feeding specifically, and why?
In parenting, I've just always found that there's no better resource than other parents. So when it came to feeding, I was really looking to commiserate with others going through breastfeeding at the same time as me. Especially with my first baby, I found breastfeeding beautiful at moments, but mostly I found it to be a battleground. It was an all-out war with my baby, trying to get her to latch and feed until she was satiated. And no one told me, the impact of hormones during breastfeeding. I'd wake up sweating or shivering from all the hormones. I felt really insecure about all these different experiences, until I found that other mama just to commiserate with who was experiencing it too. So I'd really say that there's no better resource than that. And I think that's why we created Cluster. kind of this first of its kind peer powered platform for parents and just a safe space to get real about feeding experiences and to find answers and support to just help you navigate the beautiful sometimes, but mostly like panic ridden micro moments of feeding and early parenting.
So Sylvana, I'll dig back into your questions. So you have again so many gorgeous clothes on the site. Is there something that you found to be like the must-have practical for day to day that still feels kind of like luxe, and you're like, oh, I'm so happy my baby gets to wear this? We'd love your feedback there.
Yeah. There are lots of things. Obviously, I think as a baby, though, I think what I always loved were kind of the little outfits you put on them when you go out in the stroller. And I think even if it's 95 degrees out, somehow the babies are always in like this like knit like cocoon because everyone's afraid that the baby's going to get cold. But we have a ton of these sort of sets that are really beautiful, like kind of knit cream colored with the bonnet and this and the little socks, and like it keeps them warm. They look really cute in it. You feel like you want to wear that. One of my favorites is by Belle and Font, and it's just a really just pretty sort of cashmere wool mix set that's super cozy. I think the other things that are not necessarily something that they would wear, but sleep sacks have become, again, I also agree with the fact that I wish my site existed when I had babies, but when I had babies, sleep sacks were so abysmal. They were just like, I can't even tell you. Today they're in every print. They are so beautiful. They're literally, I've given them to all my friends now because I didn't want to give them away with my last one. But there's this fun line called, oh my God, I'm going to say it incorrectly, Enfant de naissance. I don't speak French, so, but they're these beautiful Liberty print for girl or boy. There's many different options. And they're like works of art. I feel like I would be very excited to sleep in that myself.
Um, so the last question we have for you is a really important one, especially for people who have a hard time feeding, which is what got you through the night? Was there a podcast? Was there a TV show? Was there just like a great playlist? Like, what was it that you were like,
I have been incredibly lucky to have cultivated early on, and I mean like in the first 2 weeks, a group of incredible mom friends. And I, by some grace of God, met a bunch of women who had babies within the week that I did. And so I had this community. So beyond a podcast or TV show, and yeah, those are all great, but I truly credit those women and being able to text each other in the middle of the night during feeds, and truly know you weren't insane for texting at 4 a.m. on your phone while you're breastfeeding, and writing to each other and supporting each other. For me, that was life-saving. And reaching out and asking for help is to other women is really, to me, what saved me during those feeds. And I know they're not a product, but I would encourage anyone who's entering into this to find women who are really going through, and other parents who are going through the exact same thing. And sometimes that even requires, because I remember I had a 4-week-old and I was really struggling. And this mom I met had a 6-month-old, and I was like, well, we have nothing to talk about. I mean, I don't know what to say to someone who has a 6-month-old, because it was truly, every week counts when it's that early. And so yeah, that's really what saved me during the dark days, was the community of women I was lucky enough to find and text.
well, I love that. I really love that. And I'm gonna put in a shameless plug for our own community cluster, which is definitely built in that spirit, which we launched a few months ago and is getting off the ground with like all of these great parents just looking for each other and exactly that, these like micro moments. So if you, like I was, were not lucky enough to find like mom friends within 2 weeks of giving birth and was like, why do none of my friends have kids like at all? Go to Cluster. Well, I wanted to kind of close out here. We really just wanted to ask you guys, what's your ride or die? What's the one product that if you were looking at your best friend and she was about to have a baby, you'd be like, this is the thing. You've got to have it.
Prozac. Uh, and I'm dead serious. I think that postpartum depression, anxiety.
So for me and my experience with my son, my like number one product is an infant wrap or baby carrier. They were such a lifesaver for me. My son just wanted to be held all day, every day. We must have had like 5 or 6 different like bouncers.
These leggings called bump-in leggings, and I learned about them because I was posting on my account like me in leggings with like the belly band and like the corset thing, and someone reached out and was like, no, I need to send you these leggings, and it's basically built in um you know like tightening or whatever. It makes you feel secure because no one tells you that after you give birth, like that, extra weight and skin doesn't just leave. And so you're just like confused on what to do with it. And so you just feel more secure when you kind of have it, secure in that way. So I love those leggings. For baby, I didn't get to really share this, but I love play for babies, and I love what it brings to family life by allowing your baby to play independently and feeling okay putting them down on the floor. I know that might cause people to like gasp, but having a mat without an activity gym over allows your baby to notice the world. So I love this mat, a yoga mat or a La La Land mat.
Family or a babysitter or anything just once in a while, because you need to leave your baby too, and you need to connect with your partner and see the outside world and sort of understand that there is life, I think, outside of your baby. I think those first few months are very much like daunting, and you don't think you can like leave. And I think it's a very short period of your life, and I feel like if you invest in help at that point, it's important for your mental health. It's important for your other relationships, all those sorts of things. Um, and I would say also loungewear. I will echo the fact that I was living in loungewear, and so I'm so happy it's in now, and that there are so many options because it's just all you live in, and it just feels good.
One exciting product that I've discovered since my last baby, but it's for me, not for baby, and that's the softest, most delicious Eberge pajamas for mom. I had a baby 4 months ago, and I'm just never taking them off. It was the greatest gift my girlfriend gave me.
Well, you guys, that all of that was so inspiring and kind of enriching. And thank you for coming here today and creating exactly what you all kind of spoke about, which is like a sense of community and support, because I think that that's what this whole day is about. And just couldn't appreciate your words of wisdom more. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.